Your cat's tail is fantastic, Fiona. The fluffiest cat tail I've seen.
She's really, really fluffy, and she has to get like an all over buzz cut a couple of times a year. And the first time I thought, oh, this is horrible, she won't like it. But she absolutely loves it. She's like a baby that's just had their nappy taken off or something. She just like bombs about. It's hilarious. But she's very, very fluffy.
Ah,
Ruined,
good, good.
ruined my ruined my stair carpet already.
Yeah. Right, shall we warm up a little, loosen up, and then sit? Excuse me. Uh, how should we do that? Let's do it in our usual way. Then we haven't got to think, have we? So let's, when you're ready, no great rush, but when you're ready, stand up. Ta-da, the magic. Have a little paddle, little shake out, whatever you need. Okay, so take a few deep breaths. Let your shoulders go, let your weight shift a little from foot to foot or front to back. Just lightly finding your kind of contact with the ground, much as you do when you sit. And then take an easy breath in and a sigh-like breath out. And relax for a moment. Sense your hands and bring them very lightly together. Just let one hand caress the other, front and back, and occasionally switch. Keep going. You can begin to change pressure. I'll just check the L's not waiting. No. And then a little bit more vigorously or energetically. Good. And then you can bring your hands to your kind of waist, the hip area, and stroke down the outside of the legs towards or to the feet and up the inside line, the center line, and one arm. I don't think you need instructions for this. You probably know it very well. But I can remind you, go within your capacity, particularly in the stroke down. And then, of course, you've got the things you can vary and play with and experiment with: pressure, speed, breath, faster, slower, firmer, lighter, with or without an idea of the breathing. Couple more strokes, maybe once more on each side. And then bring yourself to quietly sit. Now, I'm sure you know the points of sitting, the 7 gestures as it's so often referred. But can you just go through them for yourself? And rather than just learning them or reciting them by rote, feel them. Take time. The base, the spine, the shoulders, the head and neck, the eyes, and the mouth, and then the breathing. But take your time and just guide yourself into awareness through each point, and then the body as a whole. Or if you wish, just say out loud and I will go through them with you. But I think you're all experienced enough just to check in and feel. And then can you relax a little more by allowing some space in the throat center? Simply relax at the base of the throat and back. So not so much the surface as the kind of energy center or the feelings within the throat. And relax a little in the center of the upper body, what you might call the energetic heart center. Not so much the literal heart as the middle of the upper body. And then can you relax in the kind of pit of the abdomen, middle of the lower body, if you like. You might call it the navel center. Generally, they describe it as located a little below the navel. And obviously, it's more in the feelings of the lower abdomen than the surface. Don't think of these as literal things. Think of them as seats of feeling or centers of feeling. Now, in the lower body center, in the abdomen, the belly, the navel, whatever you want to call it, maybe even a little lower, becoming what you'd describe as the pelvis or the sacred center, the below navel center, it's often referred to in translation. Keeping it very polite, aren't they? You might feel a kind of response as you breathe, slight engagement, slight condensing as you exhale. And you can let that area relax as you inhale to receive the kind of fullness of the in-breath. And you can just playfully allow the in-breath to be the focus and to kind of intensify, feel a kind of fullness and richness of feeling in the lower body as you breathe. Don't worry about the out breath so much for now. Just think of kind of accumulating or energizing a little in the lower body in breath by in breath. and just let the out breath be. So what we're going to do a little is an exercise called clear mind. In a shape and form, it's very similar to the exercise you might do after a tumno or a deep fire breathing in the belly, where it's really accumulated, which doesn't appear in the Kumne text, although it is a Tibetan technique. In Hatha Yoga pranayamas, it would be close to a kumbhaka, although it's stronger than that, where the breath is held. We're not going to do that, but we're going to use it just to kind of intensify and contain energy in the lower body. It's called clear mind. Now, when I described or instructed you to feel in the centers, the one I left out was the head quite deliberately, the head center. So as we contain the lower body a little, and what we're going to do in a moment, it's relatively simple, but can you allow a sense of the head center or the mind center, if you like, um, being lighter and more open? So as the lower body engages, this can be spacious. It's called clear mind. Don't know the number, but you can look it up. So if you bring your feet to the floor and you either hold or hug around the knees and lengthen a little through the torso, which is quite easy because you're pulling against the legs. Shoulders can settle. Your eyeline can raise a little, but don't let the head come back. Otherwise, keep a horizontal kind of view. You can close the eyes. So the first thing you note is your tummy, or perhaps your tummy and your chest is squashed a little against the legs and knees. And you've got that length through the spine. Now, breathe nice and deep and regular. Now the book instructions say repeat either 3 or 9 times with sitting in between. Do we want to do that? Or do we want to repeat it 3 times with just a break? I think we'll follow the book. So we'll sit for a couple of minutes in between. So when you're ready, you can just loosen it. If you prefer to sit with an knee up, that's fine. Otherwise, you're regular sitting. You don't need to control anything now. Let the technique of it go. But feel, and of course, relax. There may still be a kind of pulse of sensation. It can be that rippling, perhaps through the exhale. And certainly the rhythm of breathing will be prevalent whether you want to pay attention or not. And let's do the exercise again. So bring the legs up. The exercise directly preceding this one in the book is very similar, except the legs are crossed. But we'll do this one. I'm not keen on the legs crossed one. And it pretty much describes the effects as exactly the same. Breathe. And sit. Last time. If you've had enough, stay sitting or crash out. Nice abdominal breaths or full kind of body breaths. Nice and deep and slow. And sit. So as you sit, just connect to the kind of powerhouse, the engine room of the abdomen. It contains many of the organs. It contains your digestive system. It contains the kind of feeling of breathing when we're relaxed. Not the literal breath, but the kind of energies of feeling. It'll give it a little bit of a warmth, if you like. And then just keep that alive, but feel the kind of navigation quality, the instinct that's in the heart, the kind of heart knowing. And the open channel of communication and expression and connection of the throat between the upper and lower, inner and outer. And the pilot of the head often makes decisions, draws us in certain directions or away from certain things. So the engine room of this vessel you call your body carries you through life, can support this vessel's navigation and seat of feeling and emotion and perhaps wisdom, and communicated through that central channel, which includes, of course, the energies of the throat into the pilot. So do the head and heart for you communicate. You don't have to answer. You don't have to work it out. Just sense. You can do that at any time. And there's often a pull or a conflict. The navigator says one way and the captain says, no, 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 I know better. And the heart says, really? So just connect them, head and heart. Just let them sit together, be together, and relax the throat between. All the while there's a connection to breathing and support from underneath. If you think of, I don't know if you're a fan or you've come across it, but if you think of Star Trek, The Next Generation, where Picard, the captain, would have the idea or the crew would discuss something and he'd agree and then say, well, make it so. And the rest of the crew and the second lieutenant and the various scientists or whatever would have to work out how to do it. So if the head says, I want to do this, the rest of the body's got to respond. Or if the heart feels one way, the head kind of equivocates and decides, okay, I'll go with that. Or, So let things be in unity within you. And in these teachings, the key is to relax the throat. There's rarely a Kumne class or even a meditation sometimes in these traditions, the Lingma traditions, where there isn't a bit of head movement or shoulder movement. And the recommendation is put it in every morning, a little bit of movement for the head and shoulders. Let that channel be free. Or think before you speak and those sorts of things. Wise speech and how we express likes and dislikes. So if the exercise we've just done is called clear mind, we'll sit for a little longer and then we'll work with some light energy. Let's work with some wholesome energy first, and then light energy, and some sacred energy. So some energy exercises. I've just picked them for the titles, really. And then we'll play with the heart. So some wholesome energy, some light energy, and some sacred energy. Okay, so the exercise Wholesome Energy is a standing one. It starts in a squat or a gentle squat with the heels up, it suggests in the text. The hands are in very light fists with the thumbs pointing inwards. I'll show you in a second. And then you simply send the bottom up into a forward bend, but keeping the knuckles lightly on the floor, if you can. Now, you don't have to straighten the legs, despite what it says in the book. So, come to your feet and have a little bit of a loosen, a little bit of a light bounce on your knees or ankles. Just bop up and down a little, or have a little dance, whatever you need. Because we're going to use the legs. We're not going to do it ad infinitum. I'm not going to put you through your physical paces, particularly with wholesome in the title. So just check your legs are happy and your back, perhaps. You might need to kind of rub them a little or check your knees. Any discomfort, I wouldn't work too hard on this or just do one repetition. It can't be a repetition if you do one, but just do one stage of it. You don't have to repeat. So if you come into a squat, probably with the heels up, legs are parallel-ish and the hands are, it describes outside the legs. Hope you can see that. Then your hands are in fists with either a knuckle down or the one joint of the fingers. I tend to do it with the hand like that. But you can do it with the back of the hand down. But the thumbs point in, so just find a way of working with that. If you prefer to do it on fingertips, that's fine. Just don't tell me. Yeah, I can tell me, I don't care. And sit like that for a moment. And then quite simply, ideally keeping the hands on the floor, you slowly send your bottom up or your hips up. The heels will come down. Don't worry about straight legs. Worry about keeping the hands down. So if you've got a bend at the knees, that's fine. Let the shoulders and head go a little and hang. There may be an energetic effect to the way you breathe. You might feel it a little more in the width of the back. But don't take my word for that. See what your experience is. And then slowly, slowly, you can come down, drop the bottom, and sink a little back into your squat. You might decide you've had enough, in which case do a different exercise. You know enough. Always do your wobbly bridge or something. But if you're happy to, have another go. So from your kind of gentle squat, maybe lift the chest up a little. I think the text says, we could check it if you want, but I think the text says once you're up, there lift the chest and face, but don't. Just leave the back hanging. And slowly descending again. One more time if you're happy to. and hold the forward bend a little longer, feeling the breath, feeling the kind of sensations of it, the energy of it. And coming down. From here, you might be able to bring your bottom down without falling over, or you might prefer to kind of bring your hands behind you and slowly lower yourself down. Ideally, we'd come onto the cushion and immediately sit, but the chances are you might need to maneuver yourself a little and find your cushion. If you're completely fatigued or uncomfortable, then lie down instead for a few minutes. Otherwise, sitting. The next exercise is a sitting one, but there's nothing to say you can't take a moment respite. And if you prefer your kind of leg out or your foot on the floor in your cool cat position, you can do. Do modify if you need to. A chair is also a possibility some days. So light energy then. You can do what you like with the legs. It's sometimes taught with the feet together. But if you bring the hands behind you on the floor, you might need them on a platform of some sort, a couple of books or a yoga block or something, or pair of yoga blocks. You might not. I work on my fingertips generally because my arms are short, particularly if I'm on a higher cushion. So they're behind you, and you can draw the shoulders back a little, which will lead us into the second exercise. But here you lift your breastbone a little. Think of lifting from behind the breastbone, and the head looks up. Now, the angle of that, you want to keep the kind of channel of the throat and the center line through the system open. So if the head hangs too far back, one, you're compressing the back of the neck, but two, you're cutting it off, which you don't want to do. So it should be a nice free flow of breath. Eyes are open. And just allow yourself to kind of absorb the light or the evening light or whatever your space allows. You can almost drink it in, absorb. And softly release it. So we've had that wholesome energy, that kind of digestive and nurturing energy. It's got a real richness to it, like a very healthy intake of a meal or something. It's got that wholesomeness and nourishing. And then the light energy, the kind of relaxing afterwards, the space, the evening light. Ah, sitting out on the porch, watching the sunset. That kind of feeling. One of the Tibetan texts, a long trumpet text, the title translates as Old Man Lazing in the Sun. I think that's a great way to think of meditation. It might be Old Man sitting in a chair, lazing in the sun. I've got the text somewhere. It's something like that, which I think is a great title for a meditation text. Kind of light energy. You can think of it as both definitions of light, luminous and weight. So the exercise sacred energy is usually done standing up, which you can do if you wish, or you can stay seated. But it might be nice to stand up for it. But if you want to remain sitting down, you can do. Otherwise, come to your feet together. It's not a particularly difficult or challenging one, but it is a nice one. And for a long time, it was one of my favorites, if we're allowed favorites as teachers. We have them anyway, despite the fact they discourage it. Bring the hands then behind you on the bottom of the back and the top of the bottom. That kind of waistline or thereabouts. Fingers pointing down. And quite simply, you draw the shoulders together and shoulder blades together, sorry, and compact that area. Call it the back door of the heart, closes. There might be a little bit of tightening of the bottom, a little bit of engagement of the gluteals. In other words, there might be a slight drawing in of the abdomen. Nothing aggressive, but mainly the kind of closing of the upper back, the pulling in of the shoulder blades towards each other. A little more. And then almost millimeter by millimeter release. Again, hands in place, bottom of the back, if it ends. Elbows together, shoulder blades gently engaging towards each other. And soft, slow release. One more time. And release. So I was going to suggest we do opening the heart as a concluding movement exercise before we do a reflection. But let's do opening the heart standing. So rather than having the hand on the floor, the hand's on the hip. And a little deep pot. And the other arm comes up in your normal way and rests on the side of the head. Or just very lightly hovering over. And then you can move into your opening heart exercise. So think more the opening of the rib cage than a leaning. It's a temptation when you're standing is and then your shift is as is. One hand down, one hand up. You can hold a little or you can keep moving. We're just going to do a couple of minutes. So find your own rhythms and patterns. I don't need to talk you through opening the heart. You've done it a million times. But have you done it tonight, of course? And if you prefer to sit for it, you're the boss. Have you? Finish when you're ready. Next half minute or so already. And then you could either, of course, lie down or sit according to your preference. Your next exercise, once we've relaxed a little and allowed things to percolate, is a reflective one, but we can do it lying down. So allow a moment settling. Check you're comfortable, however you've arranged yourself, sitting or lying. Settle into where there is sensation and relax. Perhaps on the exhalation, that gentle ah or ha as you breathe out. So have you got a little question? Something that's there for you. Don't do anything dramatic like, should I change house? Should I get divorced? Nothing like that. Nothing dramatic. Just a simple question. I'm wondering whether to ring a friend tonight or whether to wait till after the bank holiday. I know they've got family, so do I ring them now or do I wait? It's as simple as that. It might be, should I cook eggs tonight for dinner or should I order a pizza? Yes or no, which? It could be, do I clean the bathroom this weekend or the car? It needs doing, both of them. So something simple. And we always start with the simple. It can get a little more introspective. It's something slightly more. But to begin with, just pick something. You can even make it up for fun. And then ask head, yes or no, or yay or nay, or which shall I clean, the car or the bathroom? So it's a simple yes or no or binary answer. Just ask your head or the head center. And it might be more a feeling than a tangible answer. Or it might not know. And then same question. Ask the throat center. Throat, should I? Or should I not? There might be a different feeling about the question. And then ask the heart center. Same question. And then same question in the abdomen, in the abdominal center or the navel center. And let the whole thing go. It's something you might want to scribble down later or draw or reflect on or journal, whatever you do, or just contemplate further if it's important. May not be. It may just have been fun. It may not have worked or leave you scratching your head. That's fine. Or you might have got a good sense of something. There's no right or wrong. But for now, just for the last couple of minutes, completely and utterly relax. Just a couple more minutes. Okay. And let's conclude the session then with a closing letter and dedication of merit. So it's done gesturally, generally, while we're on Zoom. In a class, we might chant it.